I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. No, that's not what I'm taking this time for. If you want to see what I would rank for Pokemon Legends ZA, feel free to skip to timestamp. I will show you somewhere. I don't know, I'll put it there or just watch. I'll have the rank going. I will blind rank Pokemon Legends ZA just by looking at the trailers. We'll see how the ranking is gonna go, and we'll see if I will be proven wrong by Game Freak. Hello everyone, welcome to KbeatZ Gone Crazy. I'm KbeatZ and welcome to a new video of blind rating Pokemon Legends ZA. In order to rank Legends ZA, I need to look at all other games just like these ones to understand how the game is actually probably going to be. So let's start with red, blue and yellow. Before anything else, I'm going to rank the overall game, which means I'm gonna consider music, I'm gonna consider Pokemon designs, not designs but the Pokemon available, what you can do in the game, and what are the side quests, the amount of side quests you can do. Some games I don't really know, so I might be actually blind rating some of the games I have played as well. So if you have actual criticisms and if you have anything that you know that I don't know, please let me down in the comments. Anyways, with that being said, let's start with red, blue and yellow. So we have all three these games in here. So I have a tier list: S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D. I just said make a new template, I will make a new tier list, and they gave me this, and I didn't try to edit this a single bit, and I will do as this is saying. So as I was telling you, so we have red, blue and yellow. I only have played blue. I have thought of playing yellow, but I couldn't get hold of it. I did play the blue version, which was I think a couple of years ago, and when Pokemon Blue came out I wasn't even born. So playing this game, you might think I would be not very satisfied, but I can't lie, I enjoyed the game. The colors, after playing a lot of colorful games, it was a bit hard for me to get into this game the first time, and then I played it again. The game did pretty well. It actually has a really cool team. I also have a Clefable and a Mr. Mime in my team I used for my blue team, and this is where it comes down to. People are saying that yellow is a better game than Pokemon Blue. This game came out in 1996. I think yellow came out at like 1999, I think. So pretty cool. I can't, 1999 or 1998, I cannot remember. It's definitely before 2000. So these are pretty old games, but they still are playable to this date, at least for me. So would I recommend anyone to play this game? I probably would, but if there is a new fan who just got into Pokemon, I don't think I can recommend them this game unless they are willing to. But there are a lot of things that are missing in this game. No abilities, lack of moves, types, and I don't know, there are critical hit things are different, and there are a lot of things that are missing in this game compared to the games that have come out today. But this game still lives up to its name. For me personally, it's not my first game ever played. I have played this. The game is great. Blue's music is great. Blue's battle music is great, Blue's team is great, really good champion music, really good world design, great map, great gym leaders, memorable gym leaders, and a really good evil team as well. Team Rocket, nice, cherry on top. So I would say this is a good game. For its time, I'll give its points by looking at its release dates as well. My initial thought is B. It's a B game for me. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's not more than average, it's not less than average. It's an average game. But since I got into the game when abilities were there, a lot of the things were introduced. So I think this would be a good ranking to put onto A, according to the chronological order. But what I would do is I'll put this to B because I'm ranking the games according to, I'm comparing all of these games together. So comparing to all of these games, I feel like you know what, I'll put this to C. It's a less than average game. There will be, let's see, I might change my mind, but I will put red, blue and yellow into this tier. So next game we are gonna go for is Gold, Silver and Crystal. I did start playing Crystal on my shiny hunts in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and the game did well, was going well, and I feel like the game was the same as Red, Blue and Yellow, but I don't have large opinions. I do choose Johto region over Kanto region, but I wouldn't go so far to say it's a massive upgrade from Red, Blue and Yellow. It's just they have more color. Red, Blue, Yellow was just just black and white games. These are colored, had a whole different area, whole different map, whole new Pokemon released, and more things were released. It's legendary, legendary. I won't rank these games according to the Pokemon released on their debut, because those Pokemon are there in other games as well, including if we talk about Magikarp. Magikarp was initially released in Kanto region, but Magikarp you can find in other games as well. So that is a different ranking for Gen 1, Gen 2. It's a region thing, so we'll leave it there. We're talking about games right here. Gold and Silver I enjoyed more than Red and Blue, as I remember. From Gold and Silver, I played Silver. I'm a huge Lugia fan, and I would give this one a better rating than Red and Blue. I enjoyed this game. That's what I can tell you. I enjoyed this game. This is better than Red and Blue. Doesn't mean it goes to B though. It will go. It is better than Red and Blue, so I will put it on the left side. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna choose. Gold and Silver, in my opinion, is a better game than Red and Blue. Right. So the next game is going to be Ruby and Sapphire. So I cannot give any big opinions. I cannot give you any opinions about this game because I haven't played this. I did play this until I passed Petalburg town, and before I got into the forest. I cannot remember the name of the forest. Hoenn region fans, don't jump onto me. I played Emerald definitely 10 times, but I still cannot remember. Maybe it's because it was a long time ago, and I did play a lot of Hoenn games in the past. It was pretty cool. Emerald is a really cool game. So Ruby and Sapphire, what did me wrong was I played Emerald before Ruby and Sapphire. As a huge Kyogre fan myself, I tried to play Sapphire, Pokemon Sapphire, and I try to like get onto the game because I need to finish every Pokemon game possible, right? Emerald was so good when it comes to the UI, sprites, and most probably the UI. For me, the battle UI, Emerald was miles better than Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. So I couldn't play this game much. But I would go so far to say that Ruby and Sapphire is a good game, and I would play Ruby and Sapphire than Red and Blue, and Gold and Silver. Oh, I have an argument here. I would go on to say it's definitely a better game than Red and Blue. I think I would prefer Gold and Silver over Ruby and Sapphire. I can't lie. Maybe I should try Ruby and Sapphire on stream. Maybe my ideas might change if I play it on stream, but we'll see. According to my knowledge, I enjoyed more on Pokemon Gold and Silver so much that I believe I like Pokemon Silver more than Pokemon Sapphire. So I'll keep the rating there. It's a C tier game for me, because it's my fault. It's my fault for putting it there because I started playing Emerald, right? Next game is going to be right. So Pokemon Firered and Leafgreen. So I didn't really talk about music and Pokemon designs and the world design and all that. I didn't talk about it. But when it comes to a game, a game is there to entertain the person who's playing and makes you keep that game playing and makes you finish the game. Ruby and Sapphire is not a game I have finished, but I would still put that game over Red and Blue because of the world design and there are, if you put it into a bar graph, the environment in Hoenn region is far better than the Kanto region. There could be old heads who are being like, nah, Kanto is better than Hoenn and all that. No. Kanto is not better than, at my opinion at least, but Hoenn region has a better world design, better biome divisions than Kanto region. Hoenn region has a desert. Hoenn region has a whole mountain dedicated a volcano. Ashes are flying out. They have more water than land, I think. I cannot remember. I think they have the most water out of every Pokemon game you can ever play. Does that mean you don't like the game though? No. I can talk about the Gen 3 games. I don't think it's fair to have Ruby and Sapphire on its own. I think I should have Emerald with it as well. But if I'm gonna take Ruby and Sapphire alone, it's gonna be at C tier. Let's talk about Firered and Leafgreen. This is the first ever remaster ever released, remake. The first ever remake ever to be released in Pokemon history. It's the remake of the Kanto games, the Red, Blue and Yellow. But this time it's not Red and Blue, it's called Firered and Leafgreen. There's an upgrade for Red, but there is no upgrade for Blue. Instead they did a upgrade for Green, which was a Japanese release, a Japanese exclusive release. It's called Pokemon Green. So we have the Leafgreen Firered version and the Leafgreen version. So I myself is a really huge grass type fan, but I chose to have Firered because if I chose Leafgreen, I won't be able to use Arcanine, and for some reason I chose Firered. today, if I haven't played Firered, I would definitely choose Leafgreen. My team would have been Ninetales instead of Arcanine. I'm actually glad I chose Firered, to be honest. And I played Firered, great game. Probably one of the best teams I have ever formed in any Pokemon game ever. Very nostalgic and very memorable as well. I chose Venusaur, obviously Venusaur, and then I have chosen who is my fighting type. I chose Hitmonlee. I don't have a psychic type. As a fire type, I chose Arcanine. I don't think I chose a rock type, but I chose an electric type, which is Raichu. Did I choose a water type? The water type is Gyarados. There's one Pokemon I'm missing. I shouldn't be forgetting though, because it should be a Pokemon. Oh, I do remember the names as well. Raichu was called Pikachu. Venusaur was called Beto. Arcanine was called Betanine. And Hitmonlee was called Dojo Lee. I cannot remember the other one. Let's not waste any more time. Firered and Leafgreen are really cool games. Very good remade music. Really cool remade sprites. Really cool remade music. I said it already. Really cool remade environment. There you go. The world environment in Firered and Leafgreen is great. Perfect. I would go on to say Firered and Leafgreen was a really good remake. I would say so far. Firered and Leafgreen, in my opinion, is not an S tier game. It's an A tier game. A tier game. Because why is it an A without an S? It's an A game because Firered and Leafgreen, I cannot say it's original. It's an A tier game. I think it's the enjoyability I have had in this. I didn't have enough enjoyability. Don't get me wrong, I did have a lot of enjoyability with this game. But I didn't get enough enjoyability to put it onto the S tier, I would say. We'll see though. If I played Firered again, I will probably put it onto the S tier, but we'll see. Now, next is an absolute powerhouse. We have Pokemon Emerald version. I would say Pokemon Emerald is undoubtedly, before explaining anything, I will put this thing into the tier. Hoenn region is not my favorite, but my god, Pokemon Emerald made me quit Pokemon Sapphire into oblivion. Because here's the thing, Emerald had really cool UI design. My debut Hoenn game ever played, so I played Emerald. Difficulty wise, very more than ever. When it comes to the difficulty scale, it's an 8 out of 10 difficulty. It's pretty hard. It's pretty difficult to defeat the champion. So I would say Emerald is a... Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of challenges, right? But I also need a small space to think that I have a chance as well. Emerald had that environment behind it. I lost probably like 10 times from not Steven but probably Drake. I know a lot of or probably all of the Elite Four members. The first one is the first one I cannot remember already. The second one is Phoebe. The next one is Glacia. The fourth one is Drake, and the other one is Steven. And in Emerald, in this case, it's actually Wallace. Steven retired, I think, and Wallace came. Steven gives you the letter. There is a storyline going on, and things are pretty cool. And you might think you might tell me that, but KbeatZ, Ruby and Sapphire is the same thing. This is not about a small difference. Only a Pokemon fan would know why they are in a huge gap when it comes to gameplay. The UI is much more better. The sprites have changed. I think the sprites were another thing. The sprites have changed. I preferred Emerald sprites more than Ruby and Sapphire sprites. And despite I really wanted Steven to be the champion more than Wallace, there is no other criticism other than that I can tell Pokemon Emerald to... I cannot say anything for Pokemon Emerald to be a bad game. And I enjoyed it so much. Water traveling, flying, again world design, Fort Tree City, Moss Deep City, the first city you go to, I cannot remember, where you battle Roxanne, the first gym leader, and there are two couples in that one cave where a lot of Whismers spawn in. I cannot remember most of the things. It's been probably, I cannot remember how long. It's been a long time since I actually played Pokemon Emerald, but my god, this is I did play Emerald in PokeMMO, I think. I shouldn't be right. So Pokemon Emerald again is my number one. Oh, I have to mention you that Pokemon Emerald has, in my opinion, the best Elite Four music out of all Pokemon games. Check it out if you are wondering if it is actually good or not. That's my opinion at the end of the day. We can move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is going to be unfair because this should be Diamond and Pearl in one category and Platinum should be in a different category, which is why Ruby and Sapphire came to the C tier. So this I'm going to talk about Platinum only. Let's leave Diamond and Pearl there. Platinum for me is another situation just like Pokemon Emerald, right? And I would go on to say that Pokemon Platinum is another S tier according to my opinion. World design, let's ignore Diamond and Pearl. The same mistake I did. I played my debut Sinnoh game is Pokemon Platinum. And after I played Pokemon Platinum, I tried playing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I'm a big Palkia fan, so I tried to play Pokemon Pearl version. It didn't really do for me because it doesn't have the atmosphere of what Pokemon Platinum had to offer. So Pokemon Platinum, I'm a big fan of grass types. Once again, I chose Turtwig, Torterra. Another thing, I would say Pokemon Platinum probably has my favorite team I've ever built, I think. Probably yes. Yeah. It should be the Unova games, but I think Pokemon Platinum has the perfect team I have. And I do have this Luxray in my team called Tiger. I use this name everywhere now. I do have a shiny Luxray named Tiger in Legends Arceus as well. Such a great game Platinum is. I chose Luxray, Lucario. I did have a Giratina in my team as well. Even though I had a legendary Pokemon in my team, I couldn't defeat Cynthia a single time. I lost from Cynthia 20 times. And it still didn't put me to say that, okay, I want to retry. Why do I retry? Because the game is really enjoying. So even if I lost a lot of the time and still wanted to play, for me, in my opinion, I think it's because it's a great game. I put Pokemon Platinum. I would go on to say I enjoyed Pokemon Platinum more than Pokemon Emerald. So I'm gonna put it left side of Pokemon Emerald. props to Pokemon Platinum, really cool game. And I would go on to say it's the best game released so far. I mean, in this tier list. So, Pokemon Platinum, the legendary designs, I cannot talk about it because it's about the game. Mount Coronet, that's a really cool place. World design is top notch. The Lake Trio, Battle Frontier is probably the best battling places you can find in Pokemon. It's like you can find Battle Frontiers in Emerald, Battle Tree in Sun and Moon, and PWT and White Forest as well in Unova region. It's a small distinction between White Forest and Battle Frontier. If you ask me which one I would choose from both of them, I would go with Battle Frontier. I would go for to say that. Props to Platinum, huge, great game. Next is probably going to be another S tier game. We're talking the Johto region. Now the reason why I like Johto region is not because of Gold, Silver, Crystal. It's because of Heartgold and Soulsilver. Heartgold and Soulsilver, I think, is the first game I ever properly played, I would say. Because most of the other games I stopped at some places, and tried to I got soft locked. Not soft locked, but I was too dumb to actually progress through the game. So Heartgold and Soulsilver, I'm a big fan of Lugia, as I told you again. This game was so good. I played Soulsilver multiple times, and I also have a team dedicated for Heartgold and Soulsilver, which means I played Heartgold as well. I played Pokemon Heartgold as well, which means it's that good. What are good in this game? World design, music. I would go on to say world design, music. They didn't have a Safari Zone, I think. So added a Safari Zone. They have access to Kanto region, and you can battle the gym leaders. There are a lot of things you can do. What are the activities you can do after? What are the repeatable things you can do? They released a Pokeathlon, which is probably the most entertaining Pokemon activity you can do in all of Pokemon history. And I don't think Pokemon can recreate it with the situation they are going right now. If you don't know what a Pokeathlon is, consider trying to play Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver. It's just under the, I think, National Park. It's easier to say that you just go to Goldenrod City? You go to Goldenrod City, you straight go to the north of Goldenrod City. You can find a gate. Inside the gate, you have to go to the left, and you can find the Pokeathlon. I hope I told you the directions right. And Pokeathlon and Battle Frontier, two things you can do repeatedly. And that's probably the best stuff you can do. As side stuff, it's just if you even if you have 100% of the game, you can still go and do those stuff, So you have a bug catching contest as well. That's pretty cool. There are a lot of activities you can do in those games. Look, the place Lugia lurks in, and Ho-Oh rests on, the Tin Tower, the Burned Tower, the Whirl Islands, the Ice Cave, the Lake of Rage, the guaranteed shiny you get. You know what? Such a great game. I would go on to say this is the I would say there are people in the Pokemon community saying that Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver is the best. When I tell you it's I accept it. Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver are by far the best ever Pokemon games ever to be released, and I accept it. I'm okay with it because I enjoy this game a lot. I enjoyed this a lot, and I have seen a lot of people trying to put this game down, saying this game is so overrated and all that. I would like for you to reconsider your statements, because Heartgold and Soulsilver, once you play it, you won't get that feeling unless you're a hater. I cannot help you with that. Next game is going to be... This is where my interest for Pokemon increased, and where the Pokemon journey actually got into me. So we're talking about Black and White here. So Black and White has its flaws and pros and cons, you know what I mean. And Black and White, I would say, that one thing that got me into the game was the sound, the audio design of the game, where when you click something when you're in a battle, like that sound it makes. I will put it on the edit. The sounds of when you're clicking an attack, you go into the back, whom whom, you know, that sounds they make. I would say that's the best sound I have ever heard from Pokemon. I wouldn't say it's from the whole gaming industry, because I have heard better, more satisfying sounds than that before. And I cannot name, there's a lot I can name if I name any audio design outside of Pokemon. Speaking of Pokemon, UI, very nice UI. That dark theme UI is really cool, and I would say this game probably has the best story. The best story ever released in Pokemon history. Is it accurate? I feel like Platinum had a really cool story as well. Oh, I couldn't talk about the evil teams of those games as well. The reason why I have Platinum over Emerald is because Emerald, there were some things I didn't really like, including team. It's an S tier, right? Which means it's definitely over. If we're ranking the game out of 100, it's probably a 90%, 92% game. It's a 90 out of 100 game. Emerald, when it comes to the Hoenn games, I didn't like Team Aqua and Team Magma, because they acted like babies. They acted like infants. But if you look at Team Galactic, look at Cyrus. Cyrus is just 20-something years old, a couple of years older than me. And would I consider the Team Galactic leader Cyrus is very mature as well? I would go on to say that guy's battle music is great and all that. And yeah, there are some distinctions. There are things in Platinum that were better than Emerald. So, and Team Rocket in Heartgold and Soulsilver didn't really impact the gameplay. So I didn't really focus on the Team Rocket part of Heartgold and Soulsilver, part of everything else. So when it comes to Black and White, Team Plasma is good. I don't know if I like the Black and White version of the Black 2 and White 2 version. Let's talk about the world design and the music. 10 out of 10 world design and 10 out of 10 music design. And I would go on to say that Pokemon Black and White has released very cool Pokemon. Again, we cannot take the Pokemon into this topic. We are talking about gameplay here, and really cool moves. The moves and the animations, the sprites were really good. If we're talking about sprites out of all of these I have already ranked so far, I would go on to say that I like the sprites of Heartgold and Soulsilver the best. But if we're gonna have Black and White into the list, I think Black and White had the best. When it came to team building though, since Black and White didn't have the previous Gen 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon in there, it didn't really do well and faced a lot of controversies. And I would go on to say the Ents Castle is great, Champion Alder is great, Pokemon Black and White, I would say is an A tier game. I wouldn't say it's an S tier. If it's out of 100, I would say it's going to be ranging from 70 to 80. 70 or 80 out of 100 game. I would I play Black and White over? Yes, I would play Black and White over Firered and Leafgreen. That's a really good one. And yes, next game I will rank that game before I even start to talk about it. Right, let's start. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 are the best, the absolute best game ever released in Pokemon history. And here is why. I'll start from the beginning. First of all, they brought back older Pokemon, Gen 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon into the game again from the beginning, right? Because in the previous game, in Black and White, they had the previous Gen Pokemon post-game, so they couldn't use it on their team to battle the Elite Four or the gym leaders. But in the, Black 2 and White 2, they were able to do it. In the early routes, you go to the Flocesi Ranch, if that's what you call it. You go to the Flocesi Ranch, you can catch Riolu, you can catch Psyduck, you can catch Mareep. You can catch a lot of Pokemon in Black 2 and White 2. I would... my White 2 team is cool. I think my favorite is probably White 2 team. I forgot about that. I think White 2 team is probably my favorite team over Platinum by a little margin, I would say. The main reason is because I didn't have a legendary on my Unova team. So if there is a legendary on my team, I would put it. It's a bit shameful, but I struggled a lot to defeat Cynthia using that team. And without a legendary, it was a pretty. It's not easy. It's always a close win, which makes Black 2 and White 2 a really good game. And I wouldn't go on to say also let's world design. They created a whole different part of the map to start from. We're talking about Aspersia Town and Roxy. I cannot remember. Roxy is the second gym leader. I cannot remember what city it is. This game is portrayed like got inspired from New York, or should I say USA, and US, we have Bravery, it's the bald eagle, and those are the stuff we are actually dealing with here when it comes to. So as I told you, activities we can do in this game, we have a lot we can do. One thing is we can do PWT, which is repeatable. The best thing about PWT is that you can battle each and every champion ever existed before the Unova region games, and you can also battle every gym leader before. I don't know if that was there in Pokemon Black and White as well, I cannot remember. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 inside the story, it's a compulsory move. It's compulsory for you to compete in a PWT tournament once. So Hugh, your rival, Hugh and and Sharon, the normal gym leader, you'll be able to battle against them in the tournament as well. What makes this game more great is that they're giving you a really cool Pokemon early, which means there is a Pokemon called Volcarona, you might know, you should know. So we have Volcarona. Volcarona, you can evolve from Larvesta by level 58 or 59, I think. But you can find a Volcarona in this game for level 40, and that's the Volcarona I used on my Pokemon White 2 team. Marvelous team. Very cool team. If we talk about the Victory Road, other games has Victory Roads as well. When it comes to Victory Roads, every Victory Road before Black and White felt pretty similar. It's always about going into caves. But in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, Black and White was not much. In Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, you go into terrains, you go into grasslands, you do puzzles, you can find TMs, you can do a lot of stuff. I think it's Route 22. There's a lot you can do. Story-wise, I would say Black and White is better. But I would still go on to say Black 2 and White 2 are really cool games as well. There are puzzles in the game. Puzzles are a good touch. Pokemon centers are really cool. It has started from Black and White as well. Music is what stands out, and the audio design of pwam, you know, the clicking the attacks, clicking the bag, and Pokemon catching Pokemon, and it's a lot. And also another thing is that you can use TMs over and over and over and over again, which makes it pretty cool. And you can go on to catch a lot of legendaries as well. You can catch all the Regitrios, you can catch Regigigas, you can go on to catch who are they, the forces of nature, Landorus, Tornadus and Thundurus. You can get, depending on the game you're playing, you can get Reshiram and Zekrom, Kyurem, and then you have Virizion, Terrakion and Cobalion. You can catch them as well. In Black 2 and White 2, you can catch Uxie, Mesprit and Azelf as well, which is a lot you can do. So Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, S tier number 1. And another thing I wanted to say is that you can skate inside the Ice Gym Leader. Ice Gym Leader is not a thing anymore. You have a lot of places to explore. You can go to the train city. It's called the Anvil Town, I think. It's not a city, it's a town. You can go to Anvil Town. You can go to the Battle Subway. That's another place you can go and do. You can go to the amusement park. You can have dates. There's a dating option in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. I don't know if it was there in Black and White, but it was there in Black 2 and White 2. There is a dating option. But my god, what a pain to do it. You get a lot of trading options. You can get a straight Alakazam by giving an Ambipom, I think, or an Excadrill, and you can become a movie star. You can become an actor. You go to the Pokestar Studios. You can become a superstar in the game. You can go to Castelia City. You can go to the sewers. You can go. There's a huge bridge. I don't know. There's too much for some person. I don't want anyone arguing about this. We can move on to the next one. I talked too much about Black 2 and White 2. Next, we are going to talk about Pokemon X and Y. Now, this is where... Now, we went on a streak on the DS games. So you know that, in my opinion, the DS games, except Diamond and Pearl, excluding Diamond and Pearl, has the best roster of Pokemon games. Let's talk about console-wise. Console-wise, Pokemon in Nintendo DS had the best roster of Pokemon games, including Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, and Pokemon Black and White. So Pokemon X and Y as the first ever 3D Pokemon game to be ever released. It is good. I feel like they focused on 3D designs. I don't know if it's a bit too much. The only thing I got satisfied. Okay, let's I won't speak as if it's a bad game. Let's say it like this. Pokemon X and Y had a really cool art style and had a really good similarity to Friends. So it's inspired by Friends and made this region called the Kalos region, which is X and Y. And Mega Evolutions were released, but that's a story for the next game I'm gonna talk about. Pokemon X and Y had really good music design. I will say that the game, in my opinion, was too easy. You see, I need a bit of a challenge. So you can see the STAT games I have put right there. Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Out of all of them, I would say Black 2 and White 2 had the easiest Elite Four to defeat. From the others, Pokemon Platinum was the hardest. So what I'm saying is that all of them were challenging. Those Elite Four members knocked out our Pokemon. Pokemon X and Y doesn't do as much justice when it comes to Pokemon battles. Pokemon battles has become a joke. X and Y had a pretty decent story. I'm okay with it. It's an okay story. I'm not a big fan of Team Flare. They're trying to be a bit humorous, trying to be funny. Outfits. Lysander's battle music is cool. I'll give him that. Battle Evil Team is not my... Story-wise, I liked it. Not story-wise, but the dramatic parts when they took out, like, formed a huge machine out of the ground in Geosage Town, I think. That's a really cool sight to be seeing. You go into the Team Flare hideout, you meet AZ, you battle AZ after becoming the champion. I think X and Y, I would say the best celebration of any game I've ever got after becoming a champion, I would say it's Pokemon X and Y. I played the Y version. I caught Yveltal and Xerneas. I think that's another factor of not liking the game that much. But I enjoyed the game. I will go far to say that. Would I say I enjoyed X and Y better than Red and Blue? Yes. Would I say I will enjoy X and Y more than Ruby and Sapphire? Yes. Would I say I enjoy it more than Gold and Silver? Yeah, I would say so. Does it go to C tier or B tier is the question. For now, I'll put it onto B tier. It's a low B tier though, because I'm not very sure about it. Next. So, music design, everything, it's great. Next, we're gonna talk about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we're gonna talk about it. So, what do we know about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? For me, out of all the 3DS games, I would go so far to say that 3DS Pokemon games had the weakest roster of Pokemon games. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed all three franchises. Sorry, it's not franchises but series. All three series. I think there are 4 series technically. But I liked Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire more. The main reason I would say is the Delta episode, which had a cool lore to uncover when it comes to Mega Evolution. That's when I found out that Mega Evolution is not a thing about X and Y, but it's about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which makes me thought that X and Y doesn't have anything of its own, right? And X and Y, I need to also mention that the X and Y had cool world design. as well, along with the music. And yeah, including Lumio City and Anistar City. I'm talking about Anistar Sundale. And when it comes to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Sky Pillar was cool, the Mount Pyre was cool, a lot of the things were cool. The biggest problem with the 3D games in the 3DS games were, I think, the art style they have chosen to go with. I'm not a big fan of the art style they went with, so I'm not really sure. Now here's the question. I did like the music. The music is fine. I preferred the Pokemon Emerald version of Elite Four music than the music in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They gave Mega Evolutions to Elite Four members. That was pretty cool. They didn't do it with X and Y. Disappointed, but what can I do? Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I would go on to say I think I enjoyed Firered and Leafgreen more than Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's a high B. I'll go with high B. X and Y is a low B. So there's a gap in between them as well, as if there's another rank between B and C kind of thing, right? So that's what I'm gonna go for, right? Let's move on. Anyways, we can move on to the next one. Pokemon Sun and Moon. I would say the least memory I ever have out of all Pokemon games I have ever played. Maybe it's because it didn't have many memorable moments. I did use Solgaleo. I chose Solgaleo. I chose Sun over Moon, and we had to move on with the story with Lily and Hao, and also Lily's brother Gladion, I think. And people like Gladion's music a lot. I'm not a big fan of his music. The twist they brought in was there were trial captains. There are no gym leaders. There are trial captains, and there are, I cannot remember, Hala and Olivia, and there are certain high rank people. I cannot remember who you call them, and there is an Elite Four. Elite Four music is pretty cool. Professor Cuckoo is a pretty cool professor. I would say it's Professor Cuckoo is probably top 3 of my favorite professors ever released. Sun and Moon was a unique touch, I would say. It's probably one of the only times they tried to do something new with something that was actually a part of the game mechanic. They actually touched it. For me personally, the trial captains, the things were pretty cool, but I wouldn't prefer the trial system over the gym leader system, because I prefer gym leading more than trials. So that's what I'm going for. So, and also my favorite evil team music is from the Sun and Moon as well. It's Guzma. He's from Team Skull, working with Aether Foundation. The real team leader, evil team leader, is definitely the Aether Foundation. Spoilers. Aether Foundation boss Luzamine, which mutates with Nihilego to become Mother Beast Luzamine, and you had to battle her as well. That was a cool sight to see. I think it was Sun and Moon. Would I say it's worthy an A tier? Because it's definitely not S tier because of because of the not my type of world design, and there were some frustrating parts because I used a Biker Volt on my team, a Charger Bug, and in order to evolve Charger Bug into a Biker Volt, I had to go to Vast Pony Canyon. That's where you can evolve any Pokemon with an electric field, electric current is going on Vast Pony Canyon. There are 4 islands. Vast Pony Canyon is the last island. It's in the last island, so that was a bit frustrating. It's not great. It wasn't great, but it was an enjoyable game. Story is what makes it go higher, I would say. Not a big fan of the UI as well. The UI of the battles of the 3DS games, none of them I didn't like, I have to say. Right, Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon is definitely a game I would put right here. They are average games. I would put them there. Next game, I would go on to say Ultrasun and Ultramoon. Remember I told you about how Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are the same games, and Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 are the same games. Pokemon Platinum and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are the same games. There are a lot of games that are the same, but they have a third release, and after 2 years after release, right? Ultrasun and Ultramoon was the same, but unfortunately they did have minor changes, but I didn't, for some reason it felt too similar. It's what I can tell you. Maybe I don't know. It's not a maybe. There is nothing I can say about it. I would go on to say Ultrasun and Ultramoon is a good game. There were some aliens we had to deal with. I did use a Poipole on my team. The first time I ever used my favorite Pokemon Xatu actually be used in any of my Pokemon games was in Ultrasun and Ultramoon, so I do have a little bias towards Ultrasun and Ultramoon. The Xatu is called Psyflight because it's a female. If it was a male, I would call it Mr. KbeatZ. And Ultrasun and Ultramoon, I played Ultrasun. Ultra Necrozma was cool. There were some few additions that was pretty cool. The trial captains were the same. The Pokemon were the same, and there was nothing really different. So I would go on to say both of them were kind of the same. You can see if Diamond and Pearl were different, I would put Diamond and Pearl probably here. I don't know if you can see the mouse, but it's definitely in between Gold, Silver, Crystal and Ruby and Sapphire, between there. It's a C tier game. So you can see the Gold and Silver are here, the remakes of them are here, Black and White is here, the sequel games are here, the Platinum I would put Diamond and Pearl here, and then where is Ruby and Sapphire? Yeah, and the sequel is here. And what I can tell you is that Ultrasun and Ultramoon felt the exact same as Sun and Moon, but by decimal places better, I would say. So it's not better than Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as I told you. 3DS had some questionable rosters going on. Anyways, Ultrasun and Ultramoon, if you're willing to play a game out of Sun and Moon or Ultrasun and Ultramoon, my recommendation to you is to play one of the Ultrasun and Ultramoon games, because it's not very different. Right. We can move on to do the next one. The next roster is going to be Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I played Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee off camera. I didn't play it on stream because I thought maybe it's not going to be doing that good. So, not good, but it's like I didn't feel like doing it because I thought maybe Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is going to be not very good. Surprisingly, it did better than I thought, but it doesn't mean it's an S tier game. I wouldn't go so far to say it's an S tier game, but I got some nostalgia. So, if we're talking about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, I would go so far to say, I'm not gonna take too much time, the remade music, the remade world design, not many things added, the no abilities as well, that was a cool touch. If you ask me which remakes you would play, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Pokemon Firered, it's an A tier game. Is it an A tier game? I would definitely choose Firered over Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. But I don't know if I would put it on B tier. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, it's the same exact game, but with Let's Go elements. It's just a game just made kinda to promote Pokemon Go, I think. So I will put it B. I think B is I don't think it's an A tier game. I'll go on to say it's a B tier game. I'm thinking if I'm doing an injustice for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because I feel like I enjoyed Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire more than Let's Go Pikachu because of Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre was a really cool Pokemon to use. And also, as I told you, Pokemon shouldn't be considered in gameplay, but Mega Pokemon was one of the core gameplay mechanic in. It's also introduced in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire originally. I wouldn't put it on A. I would say I'll put it on. It's better than Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I think that's good enough. Next, we have Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, this game I played on stream. As you can, you might have seen. You can watch it. There's a whole playlist. I played Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then few days or maybe few weeks after, I started playing the DLCs. Pokemon Sword and Shield, in my opinion, the only strength they had were the DLCs, the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra DLCs. Now, in my opinion, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, here's what I can tell you. Pokemon Sword and Shield had some good starter Pokemon released. Big fan of Rillaboom. I like Rillaboom more than Chestnut. Like Rillaboom more than Chestnut. The thing here is, I did like the HP bar is not something I like very much. The HP bar is okay, but it's not something I would prefer. It looks like the HP bar looks like it goes to, when it comes to structures in the I'm talking about the base game, by the way. You have the Rose Tower. The Rose Tower looks cool. You have the Winden Stadium. We have the stadium in is it Hammerlock? Yeah, the Hammerlock Stadium where you battle Raihan. The huge stadium, you can see, that's something I like. The character costumes you can change. That's pretty cool. There are a lot of choices. The reason why I like Pokemon games is another reason. Also, I like Nintendo is they don't put microtransactions. They just price the game, buy the game. You can do anything inside the game. That's something I like. Sword and Shield got all the independence it got. But story-wise, I didn't really like it so much. Gigantamax was something I didn't really like. I didn't even talk about the Z moves in Sun and Moon, the Alola games, because it was so forgettable. I didn't even use Z moves in those games. I hated them so much. Anyway, speaking about Sword and Shield, I would go on to say Sword and Shield was an enjoyable game. The post game, when it came to Swordward and Shieldbert, I have a whole stream saying the worst Pokemon trainers, the Pokemon NPC characters ever created in Pokemon history. I don't like Swordward and Shieldbert. They ruined my vibe for the game. I don't like them. And yeah, I don't know why I don't like them, because here's the thing. They are Swordward. Here's the thing. The reason I don't think anyone likes Swordward and Shieldbert. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you like it or not. If you like them or not. When it comes to character designs, if they are evil, if they are actually really mean people or something, right? You need to make them. You need to like make them likable. I feel like, because here's the thing: there are characters you can find in all of the Pokemon regions. I might have NPCs forgotten at this point from the earlier regions. Kanto region, I cannot think of anyone else. Johto region, I cannot think of anyone. Maybe is that guy called Eugene, the guy with a white cape who was chasing Suicune? I cannot remember. That guy was not very engaging. Hoenn region was, I don't think anyone was there that was disturbing. The closest were maybe Maxi and Archie. The next I would go on to say the Sinnoh region, I didn't have anyone. Unova region, there's no one annoying. I think Swordward and Shieldbert were the annoying ones. I don't know why, I don't really like them. So Sword and Shield, that's where it came down to. And Sword and Shield, if don't downgrade me. If Sword and Shield was released without a DLC, I would go on to say they were worst games than X and Y. I think that's a bit too low. I would go on to say, since it had a bad gameplay, world design was pretty cool. I think Sun and Moon. Maybe probably Ultrasun and Ultramoon. Because I enjoyed Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee more than Pokemon Sword and Shield as well. Maybe in between, I cannot say it's between, because Sun and Moon and Ultrasun and Ultramoon felt the same. Yeah, this is where I would put. It's a hard distinction. And then we have the DLCs, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. So these are the games that will put Sword and Shield more upwards. Which means, are they going to be A tier games? Or are they going to be kept in B tier games? Yes, it increases by only a little, I would say. I'll go with this one, because I enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee more, because I'm a big story guy. I'm aesthetic wise. I look at Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee from the start until the end. I enjoyed the game, but not with Sword and Shield. only a part of the game I enjoyed, including Isle of Arm and Crown Tundra. If they released only both of those as a DLC, I might go far to say that it's an A-tier game. I would put them right here. I would put them right here. Right? I would put them right here. But there are flaws to this game, and Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor were short DLCs as well. I have to put them here. If you ask me which game I would play, Let's Go Pikachu or Sword and Shield, I would go on to say I will play Let's Go Pikachu over Sword and Shield. It's a 50-50 kind of thing. It could go here. It could go here. You know, if I choose Let's Go Pikachu, I regret I should have had Pokemon Sword and Shield. If I chose Sword and Shield, I would have been like, I should have chosen Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I'll put Sword and Shield here because I have this recency bias as well. I played Pokemon Isle of Arm and Crown Tundra later, and I liked the fact that I was able to go back to Isle of Armor, meeting Mustard, listening to the best, not best, but my favorite battle music of all time with Mustard, and you running through the oceans. I started doing the Diglett quests as well. That is pretty cool. I will be keep doing this on stream. And you go to Crown Tundra, you find Peony. Dynamax adventures are not for me, but you find Peony. Dynatree was cool. You battle the Gigantamax Greedent. I lost like 3-4 times. And a lot of legendaries you can find. The Calyrex story is cool. The battle music and everything, it was pretty cool. You know what? I would say Sword and Shield is probably a bit more enjoyable than Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Next game I would say is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I did not enjoy the game, which means I would go on to say that Brilliant Diamond is a game I wouldn't choose. Hero images. No. I would go on to say that I did not enjoy Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. That art style was very 3DS. It felt like a 3DS game, a Sinnoh 3DS game. It felt like 3DS battle. You know, the UI. I didn't really. It's an alright battle UI. Choosing the attack and bag and Pokemon as well. And then I would go on to say Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl had a buddy system which didn't really I don't know, I didn't really like the scaling system, the Pokemon scaling. They should have made some Pokemon larger, and the moments in those battle music was a massive downgrade. I definitely prefer Pokemon Platinum Cynthia music over Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl music. So I didn't really. So if you ask me which game I would play, Red and Blue or Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, you might not believe me. These games are, I think, 15 years apart. I would play Pokemon Red and Blue over Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't in a franchise where you can do a lot. You can do a lot with very good legendary designs, very good starter Pokemon, very good world design, very good biome distinctions, very good biome divisions. There were a lot of things they should have done that was better. I don't like it. Next game. We have Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, Pokemon Legends Arceus is the first ever time Pokemon took to completely change their game to a whole different mechanic. Actually throwing Pokeballs and catching Pokemon, attacking them as well. That is pretty cool. Attacking Pokemon yourself and not using Pokemon. You can use Pokemon, but you always get into battle. Legends Arceus is an S tier team, and I would go far to say that I prefer Legends Arceus more than Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver. It could change. But I prefer Legends Arceus probably because of recency bias. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. Great art style, great music design, great lot of stuff. There are some drawbacks it has, which is the game feels a bit empty. They should have done more with the world, and the reason why I like this game is because of the things you can do in this game. You can catch a lot of legendary Pokemon and you can run around. Shiny sounds are great. Shiny hunting has become easier, and I spent more time in this game. You have a buddy system. You can make them sit, you can make them cheer up. Gameplay wise, you can do side quests, you can battle with the descendant of Nurse Joy. There are the Mischief Sisters, you can get money out of them. There are alpha Pokemon scattered around all of these biomes. You can go into these biomes, you can go there. There are traveling options. You can go and you can catch Pokemon, you can complete the Pokédex without... It's the perfect single. It's not a perfect. It's I would say... You know what? I will put it here just because of some amount of drawbacks it has. I will put it there. Next. Again, I want to say music is great. It's very Japanese music. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. What can I say about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is performance-wise, suck. They suck bad. The thing that brought them forward is I would move on to say that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had really good story, really good world design, really good, I would say, really good side stuff to do. So usually in a Pokemon game they let you to do, you have to go on to battle the gym leaders, to battle the final champion. You have to move on to battle the Team Star. You have to defeat the Team Star members, and the Team Star is not the team I really like. Yeah, I want to talk about the Team Yell as well. I don't like Team Yell at all in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but big fan of Marnie. Marnie's background music is pretty cool. Music wise, Sword and Shield nailed it. I like it. I like most of them. Scarlet and Violet, gameplay wise, pretty cool. I enjoyed the game a lot. I would go on to say it's is it an average game or a better than average game? I would say it's a better than average game. I would go on to say, since it had a lot of texture issues, a lot of performance issues, and a lot of bugs and glitches in the game, I would move on to say that Scarlet and Violet, I would prefer Black and White. You know what? I'll put it on maybe A tier. I'll put it there because despite the performance issues, because I'm a guy who doesn't really like doesn't really prioritize performance, because as you can see, I prefer not prefer, but I played Palworld, and in my opinion, Palworld is a far better game than Scarlet and Violet. If Palworld was on this tier list, Palworld will probably be here. I would put Palworld here because I like Arceus more. It's not something to do with the controversy between them. It's just the Legends Arceus, Soulsilver, and White 2 were more memorable, and would prefer those gameplay over Palworld. Anyways, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you know what, I'll put it here. Performance issues and all that, I don't really consider them. The reason I brought up Palworld is because Palworld also has these controls that is not really smooth and not very I would say it's not the game, not the UI I'm looking for. The UI was not my type. They had a Pokédex, a Paldex, I think. The Paldex is it was an abomination. The type, I don't know if the type, not the type, but the moves, the name of the moves were bad. I didn't like them, but I really liked the gameplay. I got addicted to the gameplay. Gameplay is what I consider. That's why gameplay was so high. The other drawbacks were pulled up with the gameplay. I would put it here. Gameplay wise, Scarlet and Violet was a bit weak. That's why I put it on A tier, right? A little bit weaker than Palworld, I would say. I will put Scarlet and Violet right here, including the DLCs as well. As you can see, the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero, Terrapagus and Teal Mask were there as well. Those two games were pretty cool. They were alright. Those DLCs, the Teal Mask DLCs, I didn't like. The epilogue I didn't like, as not didn't like. I enjoyed them. Don't get me wrong. When I say hate, it means they are lower than average, and I liked Indigo Disc a lot more, and it's like this. Teal Mask was like a -2, and Epilogue was like a -2 as well. But the Indigo Disc was like a +2. So +2 -1 is gonna be a 0. So I have to rank based off of Scarlet and Violet, the base game. And anyways, they released Archelodon. They had a whole Elite Four. The idea of having a whole biome inside a dome and a whole school in the middle of the ocean sounds pretty crazy, but it felt pretty cool. They had Raging Bolt and Gouging Fire. That is pretty cool. And yeah, the characters, my favorite character in Indigo Disc, I would say, was Drayton. Drayton is a pretty cool character. It's not a Unova region bias, by the way. The Blueberry Academy is actually, in fact, in Unova region, but I cannot give that bias and say Scarlet and Violet is an S tier game. It's not an S tier game. I feel like Scarlet and Violet should be a B tier game, but we're talking about out of all Pokemon games. So I would go so far to say I would play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet over Firered and Leafgreen, Omega Ruby, Sword and Shield, Let's Go Pikachu, Ultrasun, all of these. So I think I would put them there. Put it there, yeah. And yes, I would play Pokemon Emerald over Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Anyways, moving on to the next one, we have Pokemon Legends ZA. Now this is where the blind ranking is going to start. Here is what I'm going to let you know. So according to the trailers I saw, now here is some more images you can see. Now I'm gonna zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is an image of a Pokemon battle actively happening in Pokemon Legends ZA. So far we got 3 trailers for Pokemon Legends ZA, which are pretty cool, right? And I would go so far to say that the game is pretty cool. And so this UI, let's talk about the UI here. The UI looks okay. I would say that the UI looks okay. They have this Pokemon Unite style battle going on here, because once you use an attack, it recharges. So in Pokemon Unite, it's the same thing that's happening. So we have that. I can see Kangaskhan, Aromatisse, Roserade, Pyroar, Diggersby. I kind of think they might give a Mega Evolution for Roserade as well. That could be a tease, you know. They're going to give a Mega Evolution for every Pokemon that's shown on the trailer. Who knows? I'm talking about fully evolved. So maybe there is a Mega Roserade coming, Mega Pyroar, Mega Diggersby, Mega Aromatisse. We never know. We can keep it aside. You can see this one right here. This doesn't look very nice, isn't it? The buildings, it looks flat, looks images. I watched this which one? I did watch this video, beat 'em ups. I did react to a video about it as well. He showed what are the stuff that's actually looks that showed something that makes the viewer think how bad the game actually is. But the effect of this Moonblast looks pretty cool. Is that a Spritzy? Yeah. So the battle looks pretty cool. This is definitely the same engine they used to make Scarlet and Violet as well. Disappointing. I wanted it to be Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but that's sorry. I wanted it to be the art style of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but that's fine. Hippowdon, Fluffy, Goomy, Skiddo, Slurpuff, and okay, they're bringing back Pidgeotto. Okay, so we have Talonflame using Flame Wheel. That looks pretty cool. We're battling on the rooftop. I don't know if we are going to fall down. I don't really know about that. So we can move on to, so the background looks pretty cool. I can see that. Gameplay wise, Stealth Rock we need to hit pretty fast. The UI looks pretty cool. Is that the Y button? Or is it something? Okay. The UI looks pretty. I don't know if those Pokemon are moving. I don't know. I have to watch the trailer back, I guess. So we are actually battling. When they look at us, I think we have to battle them. This is going to be a pretty hard thing to be doing, I guess. So might have to open the images again. Give me a sec. Those things look pretty. Oh, those are the only ones I have, by the way. Oh, I just saw that. Okay. So this is where it comes down to. So what can I say, you know? That's where it comes down to. So gameplay wise, I don't know how good this is going to be. World design is alright. It looks okay. It might look nice, you know. Game Freak is very surprising when it comes to releasing Pokemon games. So far Pokemon designs look pretty good as well, I would go on to say that. Moves: Roar, Amnesia, Stealth Rock, Heavy Slam, okay. And what about this one? Right, Protect, right. So it's all about ranking from Z to A as well. So it's all about ranking from Z to A. I don't know if there is an Elite Four. I don't know what the Legends game aesthetic is going to be, but I thought Legends games were supposed to be games that showcase the incidents that happen in Pokemon games. So I thought maybe they were going to show the story of AZ building the machine to get Floyd back. They're going to do an actual war between Pokemon. I don't think that's happening for a children's game, isn't it? For a child-friendly game. Yeah, that's where it comes down to. So I don't really have anything to say about it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna blind rank this game right now. And here is what I'm gonna go for. I would say so far, I would go so far to say that Pokemon Legends ZA is definitely going to be a better game than Scarlet and Violet, and definitely going to be a better game than Black and White. Is it going to be an S tier game is my question. I would say this game would probably be a high A tier game, but not an S tier game. I will go on to say that. So this is my list, guys, and as you can see, this is what I'm going for. So this is my roster, this is what I'm going for, and yeah, and just like that I'm gonna stop the video. It took me 1.5 hours to rank all of the Pokemon. I will show you, give me a sec. And yeah, it's a Google ad. I don't know this. You can see what's actually happening here, right? So this is my tier list. As you can see down there, you don't have to see the D tier one, that's Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Those are the games I have ranked. Let me know what are your ranks, what you would change between these games as well. Where would you put Pokemon Legends ZA? Where would you put it? And hopefully, I hope it's going to be an S tier game, but I don't see it becoming an S tier game. I want Game Freak to surprise me. Anyways, I'll see you guys on my next stream. Take care and cheers from KbeatZ.